I'm going to show you something that completely changed how I study, and honestly, it only took me about 5 minutes to figure out. This one thing helped me ace my exams and get into a top university, and the best part, I actually had a life while doing it. I didn't even realize I was doing it at first. I just stumbled into this pattern that made everything click. So stick with me here, because by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly why you can't focus when you try to study, and more importantly, how to fix it. Let me paint you a picture of what most people's days look like, dopamine-wise. Imagine this graph, morning on the left, night on the right, and your dopamine levels going up and down throughout the day. Most people, their graph looks absolutely insane. They wake up and boom, first thing they do is grab their phone. Instant massive dopamine spike. TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Then they try to sit down and study, and suddenly they're in this horrible low dopamine state. And let me tell you, trying to focus in that state is torture. You feel bored, irritated, like your brain is physically rejecting the work in front of you. Because your brain just had this massive hit of stimulation, and now you're asking it to care about math problems or history notes. So what do most students do? This was definitely me when I was younger. I'd study for maybe 5 to 15 minutes, get completely bored, and then, you guessed it, back to the phone. YouTube, Instagram, another dopamine spike. Then I feel guilty and try to get back to work. Another low. I'd get frustrated because I couldn't focus. Then lunch would roll around and I'd demolish a huge carb-heavy meal. Pizza, burger, sugary snacks, whatever. Another big dopamine spike. Not as bad as the phone first thing in the morning, but still not great. This was my entire day. Wake up, phone, try to work, phone again, maybe watch Netflix or YouTube. I remember just getting lost in shows when I should have been studying, then crash back down to that low state where my brain just bounced between these extremes. High, low, high, low. And in those low states, studying felt like actual hell. I just sit there thinking about whatever I just watched or scrolled through. I have to be honest with you. Some mornings, that dopamine spike was me waking up and immediately watching porn on my phone. Yeah, it was that bad. And when you do that, your dopamine shoots up so high that there's no way, absolutely no way you're going to be able to focus on studying afterward. That's what my life looked like before I figured this out. So when did things change? Around year 12, during exam season, I started doing this thing without even realizing what I was doing. Let me show you what my dopamine looked like during that period. I'd wake up at 7 a.m. And here's the thing, I wouldn't eat breakfast. I'd just go straight to the shower. The most stimulating thing happening to me was water hitting my skin and brushing my teeth. That's it. Then I'd get some sunlight, which gives you natural dopamine, the good kind. I'd do my basic morning routine, nothing crazy. Then I'd head to school by 8:30. From 8:30 until 3 p.m., I was just working, studying, going to class, doing assignments. I wasn't on my phone. I wasn't playing games. I wasn't scrolling anything. Just straight work. And here's another thing. I didn't eat anything until noon. I know that sounds extreme, but it kept my focus sharp. When I did eat lunch, I kept it low carb. I literally went to the cafeteria and asked them not to give me rice, just protein and vegetables. That let me stay focused the entire afternoon until school ended at 3. By the time I got home, I'd already done so much work. I'd put in the hours. So then I'd go work out in my garage gym. Or sometimes I'd go to this place that had a sauna. My dopamine would rise a little bit. Natural, healthy dopamine from exercise. Then around 5 p.m., I'd get home, and here's where it gets good. From 5 p.m. onward, I could do whatever I wanted. I'd already studied during all my free periods. I'd put in the work. So from 5 to 9 p.m., I was completely free. That's when I watched Netflix. That's when I watched Attack on Titan. It was airing at the time, and I remember watching episodes every week. I also got into Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War, which was incredible. Those few hours from 5 to 9, that was my high dopamine time. That's when I'd have a bigger dinner. More carbs, more satisfying food. Not junk food exactly, but definitely more indulgent than lunch. The key thing to understand here is that our brains work on contrast. When you spike your dopamine first thing in the morning and then try to work, your brain is comparing that high to the effort of studying, and studying loses every time. But when you do the hard work first, when your dopamine is baseline, your brain isn't making that comparison. And then, when you finally do let yourself relax and have fun, it feels even better because you've earned it. Not all dopamine is bad, by the way.
The problem is artificial dopamine. And I'm talking about the really intense stuff. Porn, for example, spikes your dopamine so high, it doesn't even fit on a normal scale. Social media, highly edited YouTube videos, TikTok, binge-watching shows. These create this completely unnatural contrast that your brain, which evolved thousands of years ago, just cannot handle. It makes doing difficult work feel impossible. Let me give you another example from just 2 weeks ago during my recent exams. I'd wake up at 7:30, shower, morning routine, all that. Then from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., I'd do my hardest task. During exam season, that meant doing one full past paper. That was the most challenging and most valuable thing I could do, so I did it first. From 11 to 1 p.m., I'd go to the gym. No headphones, no loud music, just me and the weights. Natural dopamine from exercise. At 1 p.m., I'd have lunch, which usually took about an hour because I'd eat in the cafeteria and chat with friends. Exam season is stressful, so that social time was important. Then from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., I'd do my second big work block. Maybe another past paper, maybe review sessions, whatever I needed to do. That's a huge chunk of focused work. But after 7 p.m., that's when I'd load up on dopamine. Dinner would be bigger. Rice, chicken, fish, whatever they were serving. More carbs because I didn't need to worry about staying focused afterward. After dinner, I'd go to the library, find a couch away from where I studied, and watch a few episodes of anime. I remember sitting there watching Bleach, finishing up the 3rd season, and it was perfect. Sometimes I'd read a book instead. The point is, I'd already done everything I needed to do, so that artificial dopamine hit didn't matter anymore. When you structure your day like this, work first, fun later, something magical happens. Your brain starts to expect it. Waking up and getting into hard work becomes easier because you know the reward is coming at night. Your days feel more enjoyable, more balanced, more in your control. You're not constantly fighting against yourself, trying to force focus when your brain is depleted. You're working with your brain's natural systems instead of against them. That's the whole thing. That's what changed everything for me. Do the hard stuff when your dopamine is baseline. Save the fun, high-stimulation activities at the end of the day. Your brain will thank you, your grades will improve, and you'll actually enjoy being a student instead of constantly feeling guilty and distracted. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, and share this video to others. Thank you for watching. Stay illuminated.